Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We'll wait a few more minutes as maybe a few more attendees join us. My name is Kristin Tyler. I'm one of the co-founders, and I'm joined by Patrick Morton today. Patrick, how are you today?
Doing pretty good so far. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. I know you had some audio glitches, but everything sounds good now, so awesome. Well, we are here today for another webinar in our continuing series. Today's topic is going to be on pro tips for partnering with your dedicated law clerk advisor. And I'm really excited to have Patrick here today. He is the manager of our customer relations department of the company, and he works hand in hand with a lot of attorneys, oversees our advisor program, and I'm really excited for him to share his expertise. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and away we go. So, okay, so hopefully if you're here today, you already are familiar with LawClerk and you know what it is. If not, I wanted to give a quick overview. So at LawClerk, what we do is we help busy attorneys, whether you're a solo, a small firm, a medium-sized firm, or bigger, we help busy attorneys connect with an incredible network of freelance lawyers that you can hire on demand for project work when you need extra help, whether that's every single day of the week or if that's a couple times a month. However sporadically you need help, we have people that you can connect with and help get work done. There's no fee to sign up and there's no monthly fee. So to have it available to you, ready to go when you need it is just a huge win. And I think that it's something that, you know, all attorneys need to be familiar with so that you know when you can put it to work. So when you talk about law clerk, we're obviously talking about outsourcing substantive legal work. And one of the questions we get is, well, what exactly can you outsource? And I love to answer that with, well, theoretically anything. At Law Clerk, we are aimed primarily at helping you with all of the really time-consuming written work. Okay, so we don't do court appearances or things like that. But what we can do is we can help you with research, with drafting any sort of document, whether it's a demand letter, an appellate brief, a settlement agreement, anything in between. We can help you manage discovery, which is very time consuming and takes up a lot of work. We can help you with marketing work, things like writing blogs or FAQ guides for clients and so much more. There really are endless possibilities when it comes to delegating and outsourcing on Law Clerk. And one of the things that I know makes both me and Patrick really excited is when we are working with an attorney and they come up with a new way to use our service that we've never even thought of. So feel free to get creative and find ways to put us to work. Okay, so that's the overview of Law Clerk. Now, when it comes to outsourcing, there are obviously some attorneys that are better at it than others. And so what we want to do today is try to share some of the insight of the attorneys that we work with who are really succeeding with outsourcing. They're getting a lot of work done, growing their firms, making more money. And when it comes down to the best practices of those top users who are seeing so much success, they really have two secret weapons that they're tapping into, okay? And we're going to go over those today. Obviously, you may have a hunch what the first one is since you're here today and the topic was working with your advisor, but absolutely, secret number one is working with your dedicated law clerk advisor. And so that's why I'm really excited about having Patrick here today to give us some more insight to the advisor team. So Patrick, along with his team, this is a few of our rockstar advisors. We've got Chad, Nicole, Autumn, and Jen. We were actually just joined, we added 2 more team members, was it last month? But because we're all still working remotely, I've never even met them in person. So Kylie and Cruz are also on the team. We've got an awesome team of 7 advisors that are helping attorneys succeed with delegation and outsourcing. So this is just a quick intro to that. But now I'm going to stop talking, and I would love, Patrick, for you to help, from your perspective, explain what is the role of the advisor working with the attorneys.
Yeah, as the name implies, it's primarily we advise. Whether it's about what types of projects to post, how to price a project, recommending freelancers that would be a good fit for that particular project because of their skill sets, bouncing ideas off. We're just a sounding board for bouncing ideas off, you know, how you need it, and basically help you come up with how to best use the platform to help your firm succeed.
Yep, awesome. So the way it works is when a new attorney signs up for a hiring account, meaning you need some help, you need to hire a freelancer to help you get some work done, you are automatically matched up with one of our advisors. This is a complimentary service that comes with your law clerk account, and it's really geared to help set you up for success. So once you, are matched up with that advisor, if you haven't already, take time to take a call from them. If you prefer email, whatever way you want to communicate, definitely connect with your advisor and start that working relationship. There's a lot of things that your advisor can help you with, and we've tried to boil down some of our top ones to talk about today. And so without further ado, I think we'll kind of launch into some of those. So Patrick, why don't you walk us through some of these basic things that the advisor can help with? Oh, there you go.
Great. So one of the first things we like to do is chat with the attorney and find out the kinds of cases they're taking on, what they want to focus on, how their firm works now, and essentially a lot of the time they'll already have an idea of how they can use us, but ours is to kind of get to know their firm a little bit more and find solutions to problems that they have that they didn't even maybe consider using us for. Posting projects, it's a really user-friendly platform. There's some nuance to some of the stuff, especially with complicated cases, complicated projects. So finding out the best way to word that and find the right person for it is a big part of posting projects. So we're always there for that. One of the key things, since lawyers, as you know, are hourly a lot of the time, so setting a price could be kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah, that flat fee price throws some people for a loop initially.
Yeah, especially since it's flat fee. It's we're there to, if they have questions, like it can be an email or we can walk through the project together and kind of estimate how much time it would take and help them set a price that matches that workload. Selecting applicants is a really big part of the process. I mean, who you work with a lot of the times can end up determining how well your motion's written or any project's done. So having a good mesh between the hiring attorney and the freelancer is a really big part of making the communication smooth and helping the project go well. And as you know, things pop up in cases all the time. So you could need a project on the fly, or you can need to adjust the current project you have. So if that comes up, we're happy to help you edit it and again, match you with somebody that either somebody else that can help take on the work, that extra work, or finding a good middle ground or way to edit the project for the current freelancer who's working on it.
That's fantastic. If an attorney, posts a project, maybe it's one of their first times using us, and maybe they, don't find the perfect candidate or they don't have enough applicants, are there things your team can do to try to get some more applicants for that particular project?
Yep, absolutely. So sometimes that will happen. That's especially with something that's maybe very niche or specialized. We can reach out. We have over 3,000 freelancers, so we kind of have them a report ready to find somebody that'd be a good match, and maybe they missed the project when it was posted. We can reach out to them and see if they'd be interested in taking this on and helping out the attorney.
Fantastic. So beyond some of these basics of ways that the advisor could help, there's a few more. Do you want to walk us through these as well, Patrick?
Yeah, so the best practices, that's something that's, I guess, we've been working on for the past 6 months or so at least, since our team started. Again, the way a project's posted and described can be a really big factor in the number of applicants we get for certain. Yeah. It can, and so we've kind of developed been working with this attorney, Fred Berkey, who has really, we're going over refining the way to post a project and how communication is done, so to make it effective for both parties, and we've seen a ton of improvement on that, which is really cool. And it's a lot, like being able to do that well means less time for the attorney having to maybe edit the project or tweak something or call us because they're worried that they didn't get the right kind of applicants. So that's a really big part of it. Deadlines are another big thing. I know they change all the time, but it's really important to communicate with the freelancer on that. So kind of going over if something is a hard deadline, especially, we want to pay extra attention to it. And let's see, some longer projects can, like especially with immigration or maybe estate planning, it can be a long process. So with the way our platform is organized, we can help the attorney break that project up into smaller chunks for what they specifically need help with in that case.
Awesome, awesome. And I know another big thing that your advisor team can help with is helping the lawyers build their own teams of virtual associates, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more later in detail. But I think that the overall theme we really want to push today is that taking the time to work with your advisor and get to know them and to allow them to get to know you and your practice is definitely going to help you succeed. We are really proud of the fact that at LawClerk we have some fantastic ratings. So every time a freelancer completes a project for one of our hiring attorneys, the hiring attorney is asked to review and rate them. The rating scales exceeded expectations, met expectations, or did not meet. Our goal is for the work to meet your expectations, but as you can see from this chart, overwhelmingly the work we get back from our freelancers exceeds our clients' expectations, and we're really proud of that. But as you can imagine, anytime you're working with a network of thousands of attorneys nationwide, there's occasionally going to be problems that come up. Life happens, someone gets sick, emergencies come up, whatnot. And so, we really do everything we can to avoid that did not meet expectations category, but it's inevitable that there will be problems. And that's really the time that you want to turn to your advisor. If, a freelancer is not responding to you, if there's been a big change in the case and you can't get in communication with your freelancer, again, tap into the resource that is your LawClerk advisor, because they can help you navigate those challenges so that we still end up and hopefully that met expectations or exceeded expectations category, because we really do want you to succeed. Now, all of this being said, another thing that we're really proud of and that your advisor will work with you to satisfy is we offer a satisfaction guarantee on every single project. So rest assured that if outsourcing and delegating is new to you and you give it a try and maybe things for whatever reason don't go the way you had hoped, we've got your back, especially your advisor. We're going to do everything we can to make it right, to get your money back to you. If there's time to find someone else that we know to complete that work for you to your satisfaction. So these are really important features of LawClerk that we want you to keep in mind. And when it boils down to it, it's your advisor who's going to be the one that will help you navigate any difficulties that you might come across. So another great feature of your LawClerk is, or your advisor is, they can kind of be a trusted confidant and help you solve problems that you're experiencing in your practice or with your firm. Patrick, tell us some more about how you can be a resource in this regard.
This one is actually really pretty, I don't know where to start. I mean, we each deal with like hundreds of attorneys every week and speak with them. So like everybody has kind of a unique issue that they need help with, or maybe some pain points that they don't even know they had. So really we run into attorneys that want to focus more on client acquisition and stuff like that. So we're help them integrate this into their firm so they have more free time to be able to focus on that. We found attorneys that one of their big pain points is keeping up blogs or web content.
Okay.
Didn't even know they could use us for that. We have a bunch of freelancers with great experience writing, marketing, even writing for SEO. We've helped plenty of attorneys in emergencies calling to see if they could, because they need something really quick and they need to get it posted in 20 minutes because they're going on a flight. So we walk through that. And we actually personally got one posted and assigned while they were in line boarding the plane.
Oh, wow. That's pretty wild. I love that. I love
that. It's just a ton of things. Maybe their associates are utilized right now. They're too busy, so they need help in that regard. And as you know, like a lot of solos, practitioners, maybe they're just starting out. They don't necessarily have the resources to bring on an associate or a full-time paralegal. So we work with them to find out how we can take some work off their plate so they can focus on their cases.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So one of my favorite parts whenever we do a big company Zoom call is to hear the stories from our advisors of the unique issues that have come up recently with some of their clients or attorneys that they're working with. And it never ceases to amaze me, the unique projects that attorneys come up with to help solve their problems and get more work done. And, you know, Patrick, you're on the front lines of this, and I know you've got some great examples. You know, what's one of the most unique projects that you've helped an attorney get posted and get staffed?
When I came on, I never imagined helping an attorney find a freelancer to help them ghostwrite a book. And
Ghostwrite a book. That's super interesting.
Weirdly enough, we have more than one attorney they're using the freelancers for either research or writing to help them write a book. A couple of them were second editions, some of them were first, but that's really interesting. There's a lot of cases, actually I probably shouldn't talk about it yet, but like nationally known cases we've helped out on, which is kind of crazy, like class actions,
Okay.
celebrities, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's been it's just really fun to see how attorneys are using us. I mean, it can range from like helping a probate attorney do their billing, which I've had because that takes way too long and it's not really worth their time to do because they really get so much from the state per, charge so many hours per state, and even if it takes them longer. To again, book writing. Even I've had somebody ask me if they can help them write a release.
Cool. So do you ever, do more attorneys tend to come in and post kind of a smaller project to kind of test it out, or have you ever had anyone just like really shoot for the moon and post a huge project as their first one?
Kind of runs the gamut. Some attorneys start off small and then kind of take off from there. There's other attorneys that are emergencies, so the first thing is a big project. I know one of our guys' first project was might have been one of our biggest projects, but came in and posted a project for $15,000 for, I believe there's a big case with the Fifth Circuit Court.
Yeah, an appellate brief, right? That was huge. Uh-huh. And that was his first project.
That was his first project. And
how'd it go? Do you know? Did you stay in touch with him?
Oh yeah, no, it went great. I think we might have one of the LAWCLERKs that helped him out featured, but he was so happy he called back in and asked if he could pay more because the attorney or the freelancer did so well.
That's awesome. I love it. So obviously that guy had, if that was his first project, he had confidence in the outsourcing in the process of outsourcing. Have you ever come across any doubters? Being an attorney, I know how we can be a little skeptical of new things. Have you ever come across any doubters that you were able to convert and show them the wisdom of outsourcing?
Absolutely, yeah. It's by nature, attorneys have to be skeptical. It's basically a job. So. Yeah, of course, we come into run into skeptics, and it's really fun to kind of work with them and get to see them kind of make a 180 on this. I had one attorney that had a really kind of fairly rare case in Alaska involving the Jones Act, which I never heard about, but he was very, very skeptical about hiring a freelancer, especially since it was in Alaska. And he was using a freelancer from Hawaii. He was adamant about using somebody in Alaska, but one of our best freelancers is in Hawaii. He set him up, and there's 2 emails that I got from him. One was, there's no way they're going to be able to figure this out, especially if they're not in Alaska. They're either going to be the smartest person in the world, or this is going to be trash. The second email after I asked how it was incredibly well written and researched. I'm extremely happy. Now he's one of our biggest users.
Love that. You made him a believer. Love that it worked out that way. That's great. So, well, I want to put the challenge out to everybody watching this. if you can come up with an even more unique project, we love it. We welcome all that creativity. Definitely have an open mind when it comes to outsourcing and all the ways that you can get help to get the work done that you need. So, okay, so we've been through secret number one for how you can find success with outsourcing, and that is definitely collaborating with your advisor, building that relationship to learn from them and their best practices when it comes to delegating and outsourcing. Now, secret number two when it comes to seeing success with outsourcing, particularly outsourcing via law clerk, is to build a team. So very early on when we started the company, some of our early adopters very quickly told us, they said, look, can you build a way that I can work with the same group of people kind of time and time again? Because I found some freelancers I really like, and I want to have them, you know, where I can just go directly to them with work without having to take applications. And so we built this feature called Teams. And with that, an attorney can essentially favorite their top freelancers and create as many teams as they want. And we have some really creative ways attorneys have done that. So let's say that you're a general practitioner in maybe a rural area. And because you have that general practice, you have several different practice areas that you're routinely touching. Maybe it's bankruptcy, criminal defense, estate planning, you get the drift. Some of our top users are this exact type of attorney. And so they've built a team for each of these types of practice areas that they have. And so in essence, because they have, you know, anywhere from 2 to 5 freelancers on each of these teams, they have a staff of around like maybe 10 to 15 virtual associates. And the cool thing is that each of these virtual associates, which is another term we use for the freelance lawyers, have really deep expertise in these areas of law. And, you know, it would be very challenging for the same attorney to find one magical associate that could have that level of expertise in all these different areas and hire them full time. So being able to collaborate with the right freelancer at the right time for that case gives you a stronger position for your client, and it's going to lead to a better work product, which is really exciting. Another way we're seeing our advisors and attorneys work to build teams is to build teams around skill sets. So let's say you're really focused in on one specific area of litigation, like you've got this niche specialty that you focus on, but within it you have different types of work that come up and you need help with. So maybe you need a document review team, a demand letter team, a contract drafting team, a discovery team, appellate brief team. So if you have a very, you know, focused practice area, within that, think of the different skills that come up from time to time that you need help with, and you can build teams around that. Last but certainly not least, because again, with teams, people get creative, but you know, you can use a team to staff a case over the entire life of the case. So maybe it's, you get a new case in and it starts with, you need some research done. So you go to one of the freelancers on your team. They get to know the case. Then later on, you ask them to write a demand letter. Then later on to draft a complaint, so on and so forth. You know, working with that same freelancer time and time again for that same case leads to a lot of efficiencies because they get to know the case just the same way you are, the way maybe a traditional associate would if they were working in your office. And it's a good way to phase out big pieces of work. I know, Patrick, that's one of your best practices you guys talk about, is trying to piece out larger pieces of work into smaller projects that the freelancer can work on phase by phase. And so definitely think of using this feature. Maybe you want to pick one of your top freelancers, kind of assign them to that case, and whenever work comes up related to that case, go back to them time and time again because they already know the issues at hand. So Patrick, these are some of the top ways I'm seeing attorneys use the Teams feature. Are there any others that you want to highlight for that you've seen?
Pretty cool ways they're using it. As far as, like, again, with those larger or longer cases like litigation, estate planning, or almost any litigation stuff, it's kind of cool to see them build a team of basically virtual associates at that point. Like, they can have a researcher, you know, somebody doing their drafting, and it's just cool to see the way they like actually integrate them into their firm. We've had a bunch of attorneys ask to hire the freelancers that they work with full time if they can. Yeah. So those are a couple of the cool ways I've seen do it. It's really, really handy for somebody that practices multiple areas of law. They can have as many teams as they want, so they can have somebody, you know, that has expertise in each, you know, estate planning, business, real estate, stuff like that.
That's fantastic. So yeah, again, just like you can get creative with your projects, get creative with your teams and build the team that best suits the needs of your practice. So, All right, folks, I think that kind of wraps up our pro tips for working with your advisor. Hopefully you have a better understanding of how our advisor team is here to help you succeed. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please connect with us on your favorite social media platform. We're everywhere. We've got our Facebook account, some more videos on YouTube if you like to learn by video. Of course, we're on LinkedIn and Twitter, and if you like Instagram, you'll want to go find my little shark friend. Our handle on Instagram is @sharkontheRun, so check that out. But, and last but not least, certainly if you haven't already created your own LawClerk account, there is no time like the present. There's no fee to sign up, no monthly fee. You might as well take 3 minutes now to go register and sign up for that. That way you'll have it ready to go the next time you need some help. So thank you, Patrick, for joining me.
Thanks, Kristin.
And we hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you. If I can properly end the video. There we go. Bye, guys.